What's up, everybody? It's your boy Rebel here, and for today's episode we are wrapping up the Marksman rifles with the Kar98k. Let's get into it.
On your feet, soldier! We are leaving!
So what's up, how we all doing? Hope we're all having a wonderful day today. You might notice the shirt from the last video. I'm actually just recording this right after recording the last video since I have all of my equipment out and have this gun ready. So let's go ahead and hop right into the Kar98k, finishing up the Marksman rifles, which would have gotten me platinum, but to get platinum you also need the sniper rifles. So yeah, I'll rank these Marksman rifles once I unlock platinum for them. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the Kar98k. Now I would like to start off that while I was using the MK2 carbine, somebody else that I was talking to was using the Kar98k, and I said, hey, does it get less hit markers than the MK2 carbine? Because I'm getting a lot of hit markers. And he said, yes, it does get less hit markers. I didn't know that's because the gun constantly misses. Half the time I feel like I'm not even hitting my target, I'm just missing entirely, but I am getting less hit markers, so there is that. I mean, it includes the shoulders, I feel like, on the Kar98k, so you have a slightly larger area to get one-shot kills. However, it's still going to be somewhat difficult to get kills with it, especially with things like crouching, because that's going to take your line of sight down, which means you're now shooting them in the stomach, which means you're now always going to get two-shot kills unless you're aiming slightly up. So that's something. Besides that, I'd like to point out that, yeah, this gun is actually pretty good. It's pretty decent for what it is intended to do, and what it is intended to do is to be a quick scope monster rifle. It's built to have that really good ADS and a slightly better one shot. It's a little less mobile than the MK2 carbine, and you got to take that into consideration and use that to its advantages. You're not going to be sliding around with this thing. You're just going to be kind of like walking, jogging, and getting quick scope kills. It's not like trick shot, sliding around corners, jump, hop, skip, shot, and 360 bloom in your face in like the MK2 carbine. And because of that, this gun is just slightly not as fun to use as the MK2 carbine, at least not to me. Now, the Kar98k is still kind of fun to use. It's just not as fun. It's more of a heavy hitter. It's not a heavy hitter in a sniper rifle sense of the word, but in the marksman rifle, it's the heavy hitting marksman rifle. Now, one of the drawbacks about this gun is it only has 5 rounds in it, and that is not enough for sick clips, especially if you end up missing shots. If you miss a shot, that's only 4 kills. If you get hit markers, it's only 3 kills. You miss another shot, that's only 2 kills, and then you gotta reload, and it's no longer a sick clip because of how long the reload takes. I would also like to point out, if you have a long sniper scope on this, it blocks where you would normally load in the 5 rounds, and you have to load in each round one at a time. So that is interesting and kind of unique to that gun. That is about all that's unique to the gun, besides the strap on the side of it. There are no cool attachments for it. There's nothing unique that this gun has going for it. There's nothing in the way of attachments that's like, oh wow, well, did you know you could do this? There's nothing like that. And being that there's no magazine extender, there's nothing to have more than 5 rounds, and on top of that, there's really nothing that really helps movement speed too much. You can't really stack too much on the way of movement speed, and apparently with ADS you can only hit like a 200 millisecond cap on your ADS, which means you have the short barrel on there, and you have the quick scope stock on there, and then putting stippled grip tape doesn't even do anything. That's the max ADS speed that you can get on it. A little disappointing, you know, especially for a quick scoping rifle. It sucks that there's a cap on how fast you can make it, especially when that's really all that this gun has going for it. On top of that, it's got a pretty bad bolt delay, especially compared to the EBR. It is the EBR, especially compared to the EBR. There's no bolt delay. That's semi-automatic. There's a slower delay between that and the lever action of the Mark II carbine. So with the Mark II carbine, you can get off the second shot occasionally. You can get that follow-up shot if you are lucky. With the Kar98k, you're never going to get that follow-up shot. And because of that, a pistol is almost necessary on all of your classes, as well as the ability to quickly hit triangle, change to that pistol, and get the follow-up shot needed to get the kill if you got hit markers. If you didn't even get hit markers, GG's, you're gone. If you got hit markers, you really do need to have a pistol for follow-up shots. So on top of that, you can't really maximize it onto an awesome, amazing, best ever ADS rifle. You can get it to a very good ADS quickscope rifle, but not an amazingly great ADS quickscope rifle. And because of the amount of hit markers you're getting, this thing is not a good sniper rifle. It is not a good sniper rifle at all. You can try to turn it into one, but you're gonna be having a bad time. So let's check out some of these classes for this. All right, so for the quick scoping class, I went ahead and put the tack laser on there. I think I said there was a barrel earlier that gave you quick scoping. There is no barrel that gives you quick scoping. It doesn't exist. Tack laser for ADS speed and aiming stability. We do want to get that ADS speed up to the max, and aiming stability is always going to help because this is a one-shot gun and we don't want to be wobbling all over the place. On top of that, we got the GI Mini Reflex, because let me tell you about these iron sights. They are very intrusive, and especially if you start floating up a little, you can no longer see your target. That's what I like about the MK2 carbine. That pin at the front goes up pretty high to where like you can go above where you're gonna hit, but you can still see the target. With this one, it's like this, to where as soon as you go above it, you can't see your target anymore. You gotta have a scope on this thing. I got the F-Tac Sports Comb stock for that max ADS speed that we're gonna get from combining that with the tack laser. And on top of that, I got granulated grip tape on there. There's no D. Granulated grip tape on there for added aiming stability, because we don't want to be wobbling. And then on top of that, focus, because let me tell you a little bit about focus with the Marksman rifles. You want it, you need it, you got to have that on your class if you are going for close quarters, because if you're not going to be hanging back and you can't duck behind whatever cover you're camping behind, then you do not want to go off target even for a split second, because you miss that first shot, you're gonzo. You can't expect to pull out your pistol if you miss your first shot because of flinch and get the kill with the pistol. You already got shot. That's going to be impossible. You can't miss that first shot. You can risk getting hit markers, but you can't risk missing it, and you don't want to get flinched off of target, so you got to have focused on there. And with that, we're just going to be able to run around, sprint around as fast as possible, which is not that fast. I feel like the MK2 might be a little faster as far as movement speed goes, but as far as the ADS goes, we've hit max, and we are going to be having somewhat of a fun time unless you're missing targets. But this thing is pretty enjoyable. You can get some streaks, you can get some sick clips. I do think it's really fun. It's not as fun to die to. I do think it's really fun. It is a really fun class, and this is a really fun gun to use. I would just like to say it is not as fun to me as the MK2 carbine. Now, if we were to try to take this thing in a ground war, ADS speed be damned. We got the Singuard Custom 27.6 barrel, because that's going to give us bullet velocity, because we need those rounds to get to the target faster. We don't want to spend all of our time compensating for bullet drop, which is going to be there. So this is going to help a little bit with that, as well as recoil control, which is not going to be important at all. All this is going to do is butcher our movement speed, but oh boy, is it going to give us some long range, maybe 30% increase to range, I believe. We want to take all we can get if we're going to be hanging out in the back of the map. On top of that, we got tack laser, mainly this time for the aiming stability, but hey, we're not going to shy away from any added ADS speed that we can get without losing anything important. On top of that, we got the sniper scope, which is a unique scope for this. I know I said there's no unique attachments. This is the main old school scope for this thing. And with this thing, we are only going to be able to load one round at a time, but that's actually going to work for our advantage a little if we're peeking out at far distances and we want to avoid the glint, but also know that we can get one shot off because they just popped up and we don't want to give them enough time to position themselves. Oh, who knows? Who knows? It may come to your advantage. It may hurt, but with the sniper scope in ground war, who cares? You shouldn't be using this class anyway. You shouldn't be taking this thing into ground war. I'm just telling you how I did it and how I would recommend doing it. On top of that, we got the precision comb stock, which I believe gives us aiming stability, but I'm not entirely sure because I couldn't find a really good class for this. If you found a better class to get this to work as a sniper, please let me know. I was unable to find one, and I played like 3 or 4 rounds with this thing. I was unable to make this thing work for me at all at long distance. And on top of that, we got the granulated grip tape for aiming stability because we just don't want to wobble at all. ADS speed doesn't matter. The scope is 7.0, so we gotta not wobble, and we gotta have the added range that comes with the barrel. And with that, we're gonna be able to maybe, hopefully, if we're lucky, get some long shots, because if you haven't gotten long shots with this yet, they're not too long. Really easily doable. They are easily doable in ground war, and because we don't have shoot house, that might be your only option for this thing, in which case it's not terrible, but it's not that great. And on top of all of that, double kills for the camo challenge may be a little tough, but it wasn't that tough for me because of the quick scoping ability. You will get those double kills. Headshots, that's going to be pretty easy as well. One shot kills, oh come on, like that's even a challenge. All of those are fairly easy. The only ones I really had a challenge with were crouching, which you need 110 crouching kills. and hip fire, I was reading the wrong notes. The ones that were the most difficult for me, though, were the 50 mounted kills and the 50 crouching kills, because let's face it, with quick scoping, you're not crouching, and with quick scoping, you're not mounting. So being that these two playstyles basically go against the meta of the Kar98k, these are going to be kind of difficult, and you will kind of have to go 100% out of your way to mount with the Kar98k. On top of that, crouching, yeah, you're just going to have to crouch and actually go out of your way to crouch. But being that you only need 50 of each, that's not going to be that tough at all. And you know, you just go to rust, you crouch a lot, and bada bing, bada boom, before you know it, you've got gold camo with the Kar98k. But unless you didn't do the snipers, you don't got platinum on the marksman rifles. I don't have platinum on the marksman rifles. Gotta get the sniper rifles. Kind of disappointing. And that's gonna do it for this one, everybody. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and smash that like button, hit that sub button, gently click that notification bell, all that other good stuff. And until next time.